My name is William Mayer, and I'm the Vice President of Emerging Industries Training Institute. We'd like to welcome you to the Samaritan Center, our original training space. First, let me introduce all guests, media, dignitaries, community leaders, and contractors. We thank you for being here with us today on this great occasion. I want to stress that we stand here in solidarity, unified for one cause: the revitalization and the rehabilitation of Detroit neighborhoods. Proposal in the Neighborhood Improvement Bond. I'd like to thank Mayor Duggan for his continued efforts relating to eradicating the blight in the city of Detroit. Detroit is a put up or shut up town, and he has definitely, consistently put up and continued his efforts to eradicate that blight in the city, and we thank him for that. The sweet spot of this proposal, the Neighborhood Improvement Bond, calls for vocational training that yields employment opportunities for Detroit. We want to make sure that we highlight and make sure that we continue to harp on this throughout this conference today. The crux of this proposal being that Detroiters have an opportunity for upward mobility, for vocational training, for contextualized instruction and foundational skill development, also for essential skills or soft skill development, and gainful employment with family sustainable wages. And I want to be sure that I reiterate that. Gainful employment, family sustainable wages. We're talking about wages that can create generational wealth opportunities for local residents. That's very important. A long time ago, my grandfather had a dream. He said he wanted to take care of his family. He was trying to escape the South where he was marginalized as an African American, and he wanted to find a place where he would be able to take care of his family and provide a decent quality of life. From that dream, he came to Detroit. And I will say that Detroit is a prideful city. It's something about being able to say, I was born in Detroit. I'm from Detroit. I live in Detroit. That's a pride. That's deep pride right there. But I will say that pride has been challenged recently, from rising unemployment, underemployment, joblessness, and the lack of opportunities for local residents. But I want to be rest assured that we all here, we stand unified so that the residents at home who share the same racial, socioeconomic backgrounds and upbringings that many of the gentlemen that you see on this stage have and ladies have and share, we stand united to let these Detroiters know that it's time to dream again. It's time to fulfill those dreams. And through the promise of the Neighborhood Improvement Bond, we can help Detroiters dream again and fulfill those dreams. With that being said, I'd like to introduce the President and CEO of Emerging Industries Training Institute, Mr. Anthony Jackson. Thank you.
I don't even know how to follow that. Thank you all for coming. I know we're limited on time and we're in a condensed space, so we want to make this as quick as possible. I just want to give everybody the background on why I started Emerging Industries Training Institute, and I'll make it pretty short. But if you see our logo, it's a person that's on the top of a snowbank, and there's a person, he's pulling a person up. Well, when I was 8 years old, I was left out on the snowbank. I was born to a mother that was just 14 years old. They let us out of school a half a day. Nobody knew where I was. I don't know if anybody cared at that point. But I was out on that snowbank for 3 hours, and this was that big storm that we had in 1978. I know most of everybody is too young in here to remember that. But anyway, I always looked at that as my grandmother pulling me off of that snowbank and saving my life. And so I wanted to use that to help people in Detroit. And so that's why we utilize this as our logo, because there are still children, teenagers, and adults still stuck on that snowbank, and we need to pull them up. And so I just want to thank you all for coming, and I'm going to turn it back over to Will.
Thank you. So, as I mentioned previously, jobs, employment opportunity, vocational training. EITI has been in existence since 2011 as one of Detroit's premier vocational training providers. We train across the board in pre-apprentice carpentry, electrical, culinary arts, renewable energy. Some of the pictures that you see behind me right now are some of our students engaging in these trainings. And we work very closely with Detroit at Work, or Detroit Employment Solutions Corporation. They are our partners as it relates to making sure Detroiters not only have the training opportunities, but also the necessary wraparound services to help them persist through training. And at this time, I would like to introduce the Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board, Ms. Nicole Freeman. Thank you.
Thanks very much for the invitation to join today. This is an exciting and important opportunity. So anybody who takes a look around our country right now is going to find a lot of reasons to be concerned, very concerned. But in the middle of all the things that are alarming, I'm excited to be standing here with this group of leaders and planners and doers in this city to talk about hope and opportunity and possibilities. And as importantly, to talk about how Detroit at Work is going to help pay for the opportunity that's in front of us. So in 2018, Detroit at Work started a new kind of training partnership with employers. Now, we'd always offered some level of construction-related training, but with the launch of Randolph Career Technical Education with some of the folks who are here in this room today, including my board member, Mike Aaron, down there at the end, and our expansion with our partners like EITI and Access for All, we really pushed that into high gear. We developed training curriculums with our union and our non-union partners. We selected providers like EITI who had the data to prove that they could do the work. And we paid for that training with funding from the Department of Labor, the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit, and many philanthropic partners. And then between July of 2018 and March of 2020, Detroit at Work and its partners trained more than 1,300 Detroiters in jobs like carpentry and asbestos removal and lead abatement and heavy equipment operating. And of those 1,300 who were trained, more than 1,100 got a job at a wage of $16.92 or better. But candidly, that's not good enough. We can't stop there. The only way we can make it different, though, is by partnering with employers who make a commitment to hire. Without a different level of commitment from a wider set of construction partners, all we're going to have is a training program. And the best training program in the world, if it's not connected to an employer, doesn't get you very far. So this time, there are two specific reasons that we could have a chance to make this better and different than everything that we've done in the past. Number one is that the employers who could be in the position of making the hiring decisions are in this room and beyond. They are publicly telling you here today what their commitment is to hiring Detroiters. That makes it different. The second thing that makes this different is that we have now proven to you as Detroit at Work that we can get Detroiters ready at scale. We got 12,500 Detroiters ready for FCA jobs. FCA is interviewing now. They just interviewed the first 350 of the 3,500 that they're going to interview in just this round. And by all accounts, we hear that it's going well. Detroit at Work knows how to get Detroiters ready. And the reason we know that is because employers are telling us that. So we've been talking with the leaders here today about the possibility of getting Detroiters ready for work if this bond makes it to the ballot and is approved. And if voters approve the bond, we're going to need 500 to 1,000 Detroiters who are ready to rehab the thousands of homes that can be saved and demolish the thousands that cannot. And while there are a lot of people who have to decide how this moves forward, I'm here to make a different point. I'm here to tell you what happens with jobs and careers if the people say yes in November. A yes vote in November means jobs for Detroiters that pay a living wage. As Anthony just said, jobs that pay a living wage, pay benefits, and have a career pathway to a job that's even better. Jobs that pay middle-class salaries or above. Now, as we gear up for this to happen, there's one important question we have to ask ourselves, and that is, who's going to pay for all this? Because while Detroit at Work offers free training to Detroiters, we all know nothing's free. So I'm here to say that we are making a commitment at Detroit at Work to be in the lead for raising the funding to do the training for Detroiters to get these jobs. And there are 3 funding streams that we're going to aggressively pursue. Number 1, federal funding and state funding. We have a way to do that, assuming that our funding from the Department of Labor holds. Number 2 is that we're going to ask employers to do their part because they certainly benefit when we train Detroiters and get them ready. And number 3, we're going to ask the philanthropic community to come alongside of us to close the gap. So while I don't want to make this sound simple, especially in times like these, we have done it before. And with the support of the community and leaders in this room, we will do it again. To do better by Detroiters and for Detroiters, we have to do things differently. And that different opportunity is here now.
At this time, we'd like to call up Mr. Mike Aaron from the local 1191 Laborers Union.
Good afternoon. I got to tell you something. Every time I'm invited to a press conference, I'm always told initially, no, you don't have to present. But then just a minute or two before the conference starts, here I am. So if I don't sound prepared, I am. Today, Laborers Local 1191 is here asking the City Council of Detroit, as we stand here as a stakeholder in Detroit, we are an all-inclusive organization. We provide opportunity for the citizens of Detroit. We're standing here today to ask the City Council to give consideration to allowing this proposal to be a ballot initiative come November. I have in the room with me several of my members that is employed by our affiliated contractors that we work very closely with, Gayunga, to employ citizens from the city of Detroit. We provide those opportunities, and also the building trades. I have a brother from the operator engineers in the room. So we provide opportunities for, and we are a pathway to these opportunities in the building trades. So I think, as the City Council always say, they are a voice of the community. We're asking them to let the community speak. Let the community have a voice in this process. We're also just proud to be working with our affiliated contractors because we know how this can help build capacity to their organization, their company. When they get larger, bigger, and better, that means more of our members of the great Laborers Local 1191 can go to work and work in the city to help revise and, unfortunately, sometimes demolish what needs to be demolished. But we are a community-based organization that work very closely with the community to help provide opportunity to anybody. I heard employment. I didn't hear the word job yet, I don't think. But we don't want to provide an employment or a job. We want to help you provide a career for young people and people that have a desire to be part of the building trades. Laborers Local 1191 don't have those impediments. We just looking for good people that want to earn a livable, sustainable wage for them and their families with benefits. Things that we are hearing in the news today, health care, Once an individual become eligible for health care in my industry, from my organization, if he has a spouse and 20 young people, they all are eligible. They don't have to pay extra for the spouse. So I'm being told to shut up now. They asked me to talk, and now they tell me to shut up. So I'm proud to be here today in support of this proposal for the city council to consider to let the community have a voice.
We will now call on Mr. Charles Bailey, who is the CEO of Lake Star Construction Services.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Charles Bailey, Lake Star Construction Services. There's been so much said about what this bond means as far as demolition, but I'm here to speak to you guys as far as what it means for the rehab of the city. There's so much rehab that happens throughout the city currently right now through various programs such as HRD or Bridge in Neighborhoods or Detroit Land Bank even. And I can tell you firsthand that one of our largest obstacles is talent acquisition. We just simply don't have the force currently to do the programs that are out there now. However, with the things that we're talking about right now, the things that we're talking about implementing, I think that we will not only have that to meet this current bond, but then also to fill the gaps for those other programs as well. And also I want to speak about rehab and what it does. You know, there are so many times that we start a project in a neighborhood and people stop and they look and they kind of scratch their head like, you know, what is it that you guys are going to do for this house? You know, it can't be saved. You should just tear it down. And maybe 3/4 of the way through, that mindset changes. You know, they stop at that point. Now they want to ask, can they come inside the house and see it? Or they want to know, hey, what's happening to this house? Can I buy it? Can I live in it? Can I rent it? It has such a ripple effect throughout the community. People see the work that we're doing on these rehabs, and it encourages them to now not only rehab their own homes, but maybe look and see if they can help out their neighbors, so on and so forth. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about, or the last thing rather I should say, is just that sense of community. You know, whereas these guys do a great job of demolishing things that must be demolished, things that we just simply cannot rehab and repair, but the sense of community aspect comes into play when you have a family that moves into that home that maybe have been forgotten about at some point, but now it becomes a place where a family can live, a neighbor is gained, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Damian Ellis, and I'm going to briefly introduce a consortium of black contractors who are speaking about this bond. But very quickly, I currently am the Director of Operations at Guyanga, but prior to that, I've been for years a community activist speaking on issues with inclusion for not only Detroit residents, but Detroit black residents and business owners. And I want to just briefly talk about something that I've learned in my years. So there's a saying that says, if you give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. It was a black man that I used to work for in DC named Paul Brailsford, and he used to say, if you teach a group of men to hunt whales, they'll feed a village for a lifetime. This bond is a $250 million whale. And these men, along with the city, along with city council, we have been working tirelessly to make sure that this bond is carved up so that Detroit eats off this well. So without further ado, this is a consortium of black contractors who not only have been doing great work in the city, but who have been working to make sure a lot of the concerns that the community had and a lot of the concern that black contractors had in previous programs have been addressed. And Brian McKinney will start with the introductions.
I want to first off thank City Council members Roy McAllister, Councilman Andre Spivey, Councilman Scott Benson for being here. City Council has worked very tirelessly on our behalf directly, calling to make sure everything was okay, and just working to ensure that in this effort that Detroiters and African Americans in particularly were put first. And so I want to first acknowledge that their efforts, we wouldn't be here today. And other council members as well, council president, and the council as a whole has been working tirelessly. So even though they aren't here for other pressing commitments, I still want to make sure we acknowledge them as well. I want to thank my colleagues who, you know, as a black man, we never look at each other as competitors. We look at each other as brothers. And so these are, have been my brothers in this struggle to ensure that, to what Damien's point, that every African-American who wants to participate as a business owner is able to participate. No one knows the pains more of the federal rules than Guyanga, being that we were the only one that the rules impacted to not participate. And so we diligently worked with council to ensure that this neighborhood bond addressed the issues to make it inclusive. So I'm gonna introduce, you know, before I finish, I'm gonna Rod Rickman of Rickman Enterprise, Curtis Johnson of Inner City Contracting, Harley Brown from DMC, Keith Jones from J. Keith, Charles Bailey from Lake Star Construction, Leon Petty from City of Bateman and Go Green. We have other contractors in the room as well. And I want to also note that today isn't just the contractors that were participating. I see a lot of faces in the room that are contractors that are going to be a part of the next group participating on the rehabs, the clean outs, the roof repair. And so I just want to make sure that that is acknowledged here today. One thing that is important, in addition to the rehab and restoration, is every single demolition that occurs requires 14 jobs. 14 jobs, no matter if it's a 900 square foot bungalow or a 4-family property. You're gonna see 14 individuals that are required to perform that. And it is our existing efforts, in addition to other people in this room, to ensure that the vast majority, far exceeding, as the councilmen here have always stressed, we look at 51% as the baseline, not the ceiling. And so I just wanted to say that this is an opportunity. We take great pride in the fact that, you know, this is going to be an opportunity for everyday Detroiters to participate because the work is happening in our neighborhoods. So when we've had challenges with transportation or getting to other sites, this work is happening inside of the residential areas, and so that this affords the greatest opportunity for our residents to participate. And if we ever want to see companies like the ones here get to the freeway projects and the bigger projects, it has to start with the smaller projects in the neighborhoods. There's a reason why you don't see African-American companies doing the large infrastructure projects. It's because we got to get a foot in doing the smaller ones first. And so I just wanted to say that. I'm excited for the residents and hopefully through council having an opportunity. And I feel confident that, you know, we will together be able to make a difference in not only tearing down blight and rehabbing homes, but creating livable, sustainable careers. And we'll create more laborers, more operators, more foremans, more superintendents. And then there'll be more people that'll be standing in future press conferences, and we'll have a capacity to not only rebuild our city, but to grow our city in ways that we've never had it built.
Good afternoon, and again, welcome, councilmen. And from my perspective, again, Rickman Enterprise look forward to continuing to support providing opportunities for residents in and around the community by engaging them in the training aspect of it and providing them with the skills that they need to have an established job with future and opportunities. It is always excellent to provide support and inclusion in development of our neighborhoods and our world-class city here in Detroit, and to continue to see it grow and develop. So again, to the city council and to the individuals here, I support putting it on the ballot for approval for the next vote. Thank you.
And now we would like to have our distinguished council members that have come here today to speak. Councilman Spivey, it's your district, so we'll let you lead off speaking, and then we'll go for them.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I can't tell you how overjoyed I am to be in this room right here. If you can see what I'm seeing right now, Brother Jackson, you mentioned Detroit Pride. I will say Detroit Pride. That is in the room today. I'm just glad to be in this room right now. This is a long time coming. Should happen a long time ago, but it's here now, and we're going to make some things happen. I'm supporting this neighborhood improvement bond because, one, we will tear down some homes. I and my colleague Scott Benson, we have members in our district who cannot get homeowners insurance right now because they live next door to a vacant home. We don't want vacant homes, children going to school every single day. Get rid of those homes right now. Secondly, we can rehab some of those homes to put families back in there to rent or to buy, to build neighborhoods, to improve our areas, to build communities. Thirdly, Mike Aaron said not jobs but careers, make careers from those in the city of Detroit. And then lastly, to improve our business here in the city of Detroit, those men and women you see right here. And so, Brother Will, you mentioned the 1978 snowstorm. There was a commercial when I grew up that talked about a food product, that it's in there. And so this neighborhood bond proposal for jobs, it's in there. For improving businesses, it's in there. For improving our community, it's in there. Everything we need is right here. And as council members, our job is to only put it on the ballot. We're not approving it, we're putting it in the people's hands for you to prove it, for you to say, you know what, I'm tired of my community having vacant homes and blighted homes, I'll do it myself. And so our job is to put it on the ballot. And so I applaud the mayor and our deputy mayor, Conrad Maller, who's here, because before, there were some things in the first proposal that were just not right. And so the day it was turned down in November, the mayor began to meet to say, we're going to change some things right now. And now we're at that point. And so I pray that my colleagues who are not here, they have looked at it, researched it, and prepared to vote for it. If we don't approve this, we are saying we don't want Detroit to have a future. But if we do approve it, we're saying that we have opportunities for those who are standing right here to my right and to my left, those who are in elementary, middle, and high school to say, I can live in Detroit, I can work in Detroit, I can buy a home in Detroit, I can have pride for my city in Detroit. And so I'm just overwhelmed again, I have to say that, with our contractors, our elected officials, our clergy, all of our community, our union leaders who are here. This is what Detroit is made of. And we have not been on the news for any negative things in the last 4 or 5 months, but I wish this story today could be on CNN, the first story, to show that while the world is having their challenge, we're having ours too. But we are looking for the future of development and growth and impactful bond measures in the city of Detroit to move our city forward. And I'm glad that I'm here with my colleague, Scott Benson, my neighbor to the north and to the west, and my far west neighbor, Mayor McAllister. I guess Scott's next. District 3, Scott Benson. Won't you welcome him at this time?
Oh, this is fantastic. And so I just want to say it is an honor and a privilege to be here with Detroit today. And so what we're seeing is the opportunity to establish an ecosystem. And so when people talk about jobs, they talk about careers, and they talk about money. $250 million, $250 million would come from us, which means it will be ruled by us. Our money, our rules. It is about time that we have the opportunity to determine how we move forward as a community and how we move forward as a city. Our neighborhoods for too long have suffered with vacant and abandoned homes. The quality of life has deteriorated to a point where we have learned to just accept and live within chaos. That should not be the case. Young girls should not have to fear walking by vacant homes for a man to drag them in. We should not have to find bodies in vacant homes. That is not how our children and our families should live. And so when I hear from my presidents of my block clubs, Ms. Leatherwood, Ms. Causey, who say, I have been in my home for 50+ years. This is a social justice issue. This is an environmental justice issue, and this is an economic justice issue. We have the opportunity to change the direction and the tact of our city moving forward forever. And I hope that we take this opportunity. And as Member Spivey said, we are not voting on this, although I will vote yes. I want to have this opportunity to improve the quality of life for the residents in my district. I am just asking that my colleagues and I will be voting to put this on the ballot to allow the people to determine what type of future they want to see in the city of Detroit, and do we want to ensure that we are giving our young people opportunities for the next decade when it comes to construction, when it comes to demolition, when it comes to environmental cleanups in our own neighborhoods? Are we looking to make sure that our tax dollars support the investment in our neighborhoods? I vote yes, and I hope everybody else will vote yes as well. And I want to make sure that we also hear about, from my colleague from the West, Member McAllister, who also has these same issues, and we share a border just along, close to Woodward, along John R., and along the viaduct and the train tracks. Member McAllister from District 2.
First of all, I always like to give honor to God, to the head of my life. And thank you to my colleagues, and thank you to the members that are here. I can't say any more words than what has already been stated. And really, it was a struggle for me at first, because there were things that I had talked to these contractors about and that we wanted to have, but there were some other things that I wanted to make sure. And now with this, the administration has, as Member Spivey and Member Benson has stated, has talked with us, and they have brought this forward. And then I also want to commend the Deputy Mayor, Mr. Conrad Mallett, for his part in this. But the main thing that I want to say is the fact that what really encourages me is that we are working together. Amen. That is the whole initiative of this, that we are working together. If the contractors, the city council, the administration, the community, the clergy, as everybody's working together, is nothing that we are not going to be able to accomplish. Yeah, that's the main thing. So when we look at this and how it's coming forward, Detroit is just getting ready to take off again. And that's the main thing that I feel really good about this. Plus the fact, too, is that God works mysteriously, because it was turned down last time, but now that it will maybe go forward, again, it's the city council that's going to put it on the ballot November the 3rd, and hopefully our voters will move forward with it. But the fact of the matter is, the bond rating at this point is so low. So that's another advantage. So these are the things that just encourages me to continue to work with everybody in here. And I say minority contracts because we talk about African American, but we have some women that are also minority contracts, and I want to recognize them as well. So with that, thank you so very much for working together, and let's move forward. Thank you.
Before we open up the floor for questions, one thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge many people are here who are in the back who are actually working in the field right now, who are part of the demolition process, who are part of the rehabilitation process, who are working on these homes, who are the sweat and the tears behind these homes. If you would, I see some of you right there, take a step forward or stand up and be acknowledged. Some of you, just come on in from the back. If you're in the back, come on in. Come on in. Come up right up here in the front. I want you to come right up in the front. Young man. Yeah. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Just stand right in the line. Now, I couldn't bring everybody in here because we're trying to social distance to the best of our ability. However, I want you to see the faces of some of these individuals who are, you know, like I said, the blood, sweat, and tears behind the work that needs to be done as a part of this initiative. So give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. These are Detroiters. They are hungry. They are taking care of their families. And this is what this is all about. This is a family initiative, you guys. This is what generational wealth is all about. Being able to provide, being able to pass down, and know that you gave it your all. That's what this is about. And with that being said, at this time, we would like to open up the floor for any questions or closing remarks. Thank you. And if you would, if you have any questions and you have a specific individual who would like to answer that question, please identify that individual before you ask the question. Thank you. Sir.
Sure. Yeah, hi, my name is Lewis. I'm a reporter for BridgeDetroit.com. I'll just open up to anyone who wants to answer this. But what if you could just give more context about the way things have been going in terms of demolition, of how much work these firms have been getting, and why you think there's going to be so much more work, from what I am understanding?
A great question. So currently, the way that the rules work on the city procurement under Office of Contracting and Procurement, there's equalization. And so the opportunities that we've really seen where firms like myself and the gentleman here have grown have been because of those equalization credits, being Detroit headquartered, being Detroit resident business, being Detroit small business or micro business certified. And so that, through the work that council through ordinances and administration have put forth under the leadership of Boise Jackson have allowed us to have an increased opportunity. I can't tell you how many times we've won a bid based upon those equalization credits that put an emphasis on us putting Detroiters to work.
Do you have a sense, I mean, I think, from what I think I understand about the proposal, there's a 51% requirement, at least of the workers, 51% should be Detroit residents. Are you close to that goal now?
Every company here that stands before you exceeds that goal. It isn't just those here. There are many companies that don't get attention, that are African American, that exceed those goals, and take pride in those goals. And so I think that we are already able, by far exceeding that goal. And as Councilman Spivey and other councilmen here have always said, that is just the baseline.
And so does that mean then that the bulk of demolitions already are being done by Detroiters and Detroit contractors, or?
On the city side, yes. And so the data points that we've seen that Council President Brenda Jones' office has been tracking on the city side, where city funds, to Councilman Benson's point, where are under oversight and control of city council, that is the case. All of us here have benefited in that way regard. Yes. I think it's safe to say the vast majority of us, I wouldn't know the data point to give you a specific number, but it far would exceed 51% of the companies. I mean, all the guys here are Black-owned companies, and we are just a small representation. A lot of our colleagues had to be in the field today and work, couldn't sacrifice, but they are standing with us as well.
Are there any other questions or concerns, comments? Okay. We would like to, again, thank everyone for being here today. This has been a great discussion. And we ask that everybody leave here safely and be safe and take care of yourself. Thank you so much.